Hey, it's your man, chollyP. Didn't have the best day, but it definitely wasn't the worst day. Missed out on over 200 pips worth of trades that I called ahead of time, which you'll see. I called both trades ahead of time and ended up missing both of them for various reasons. One of them, the entry just took off too quickly. Normally when price hits my entry point, my projected entry point, it'll linger around for at least like 5 to 10 seconds at minimum, sometimes up to 30, 45 minutes. This one just kind of hit it and took right off. And so I didn't have time to, really jump into it. And then the other trade I missed basically due to something I didn't realize. So it's a rule that I was able to tweak and implement, which you'll see that as well. Just stick around for that. Every day is not going to be a trading day. I do not trade 5 days a week by any means. 2 to 3 days a week, kind of what I would average as far as me being selective with my trades, and which I'm more lenient on my personal account, and I need to stop that. I need to be just as selective on my personal account as I am on my prop firm accounts. But the point is, if you're trading every day using my strategies, you ain't doing it right. But before we jump into all of that, let me shout out to Henko Trade. That's my personal preferred broker of choice. If you need a personal account, use my link in the description to sign up with Henko Trade. And with that, you only need $10 to deposit if you choose to get a live account with them. However, they do have additional account types with added perks for those who can deposit more money. However, with any account you get with them, you're going to have great spreads. You get the great customer service if you ever should need it. And whenever you need to get that payout, you're going to get that payout. So definitely use that link in the description, sign up with Henko Trade, and let's jump into the video.
All right. So ironically enough, the last video I made said that EURCAD was going to tank. Now I'm thinking I'm about to buy it. So, I do see, yes, we're in this major zone. So I feel like it's coming down extremely soon. The other thing that I do notice, though, is that if I zoom out just a little bit more, we've got an even more major zone here, right here in this area. That's a stronger level of resistance. And as you see, we still got a little bit of time to come up to hit that. The other thing that makes more sense about that zone, if I draw a line right here, notice we've got a price gap between this daily candle and this daily candle. We've got a big gap in price that needs to be closed. So I could anticipate, I could use that as a big clue to say, today can come up and finish closing that price gap. So I can still see this going up some. And I do see PCP has been confirmed on the EURCAD. PCP is peak center pass for anybody who's new to the channel, which equals my angel dust strategy. So yeah, PCP is angel dust. So I'm looking at this as an angel dust trade. I'm gonna get in on a buy. Quickly going over the angel dust rules. We're above the purple line on H1, which means we're only looking to buy this right now. We've got the H1 candles coasting along the 10 EMA. And while it's coasting along the 10 EMA, and keep in mind, we're looking for a buy, the Ehlers Fisher down here is below the 50 level. That's a good opposing factor. That Ehlers Fisher being below the 50 level is kind of like a, look at it kind of like a slingshot ready to pop that thing back up. And then the main thing, like I was just saying, PCP is confirmed. We've got peak here. This is a peak. This is a center point. And this is a pass candle. So I'm going to actually draw a line on my center point just to make it a little bit more obvious what I'm saying. And all you're doing really is looking for a W. But the W's aren't always that pretty. This one's pretty. This is the top of the W. This is the peak. Come down, come up to a center point. So peak, center, and pass. The pass candle happened at the proper time of day. which is very important. So in New York session, it can happen, but either the past candle happens to be the 6 a.m. through the 9 a.m. candle. This was the 6 a.m. Central Standard Time candle. Candle happened at the proper time of day. Only other thing is, if I go to H4, we see that H4 is in the bands, right? My rules say the projected entry cannot be in the H4 bands. Well, where is our projected entry? If I go to M15, I'm waiting on price to come down and grab this 50 EMA. So this gold line. So we're going to get in at or just below this 50 EMA. See where the line is. Now, if I go to H4, is that inside the bands? Nope. It's just under the bands. So that rule is still met. The other thing I see, just throwing this out there, is on the USDCAD. I think that this is going to be a killer crossover setup, is what I think this is turning out to be. As you see so far, we've got divergence, and divergence is not required for killer crossover. It's just an added bonus. So I'm just throwing it out there that it's something I see, being that price from here to here is going down as far as the candles show, but then the Ehlers Fisher shows is going, the momentum shifting to the upside. But mainly what I see is that we've got these about 2.5 days worth of price movement, and the MAs, the 50 just crossed over the 144. I can see this candle or the next candle coming up and passing over or closing above this prominent point. And if that happens, then we'll be confirmed to the upside for the rest of the day for the dang it, I keep saying EURCAD, the USDCAD. We do have major USD news at 9 o'clock coming up. So if this candle doesn't close above this point, I anticipate the 9 o'clock news to make it do that. And then I'll start looking for a buy entry. But for right now, the EURCAD is likely the first entry that will be given. So I'm looking to buy this soon. Okay, so quick change of plans. This is why I just react to the market. So USDCAD already closed past my last prominent point in that structure for that killer crossover confirmation. It didn't close on H1, but it did close on the M15 above that line, as we can see. As long as M15, like this strategy and the Omega strategy, when I need that close past the last prominent point, as long as M15 does it, it's valid. So it's better if it, if we stay up here and H1 closes above it as well, awesome, but we have what we need. So at this point, anytime the market comes back down and grabs our 50 EMA, we're good to go and buy USDCAD. So now I think what's going to happen is basically price is going to stay up here and H1 is going to close above this line as well. And then they're going to use the 9 o'clock USD news to retrace the market down before shooting it up. So that's what I think is going to happen at this point. Now, the EURCAD, it went ahead and took off. However, it still got plenty of time to come down and grab our 50 EMA. Let me double check and make sure the 50 EMA is still below the bands on the H. Yeah, it's still below there. So yeah, so we're still good to get a potential entry on EURCAD as well. So, but yeah, the EURCAD and the USDCAD will hopefully play out as we hope. So yeah, this is too spiky, so I'm not feeling it. Not right now. I might just let this 15-minute candle close and do it that way. Because yeah, this is very spiky. It hit it. But I prefer that it come down just a little bit further under it. So I might have just missed it. But again, with the news and the way it's spiking, pretty sure it'll come down and come under it a little bit further. So that should be all right. Well, you can't catch them all. So as you see, this took on off. I think it's gone 100 pips or close to it. Let's see. This has gone from top 97 pips from the entry to the top. However, thing to note is whenever a price gives you an entry, normally, like on a normal day, when price gives me an entry, it's going to hover around that entry point for at least like 5 seconds minimum. This was like 0.2 seconds. Like it wasn't even a half second that it was here. It just said pop and start, and came on back up. So that wasn't a safe entry to me. 5 to 10 seconds is kind of a bare minimum. And then it can even hover around here for an additional 15-minute candle or 2 or 3, 30, 45 minutes where it's kind of hovering and playing around here before it really takes off. But again, minimum, I'm looking for like 5 to 10 seconds. So that wasn't the greatest entry. I'm just, again, you can't catch them all, but the analysis played out. So I do want to show that, yes, I could have gotten in a little later. And yes, I'm a little bit too much of a perfectionist sometimes, and that can hinder me from catching pips, because I could have easily just took this trade a few pips late and got in, up here somewhere and still caught 90 pips and been, had a great day. But point is, the analysis played out. So I want to highlight that. I also want to show on the USDCAD, let me erase this right quick. Something I actually learned today. So if you've seen enough of my killer crossover strategy videos, I take them a couple different ways. The original way that I taught was actually this type of formation where where price interacts with the crossover. And whenever it interacts with the crossover, I take the entry normally off of H1 and wait on H1 to come back down and grab the 50 EMA. However, if you recall, the 15-minute time frame is what actually closed above this first. Well, 15 minutes always going to close above it for H1 unless they do it at the same time. But once the 15-minute closed, I anticipated it coming down and grabbing the 50 EMA on M15. But what it actually ended up doing was simply, actually, let me highlight the top of this candle, because this was the candle that closed past it. So now let me go back to H1. Notice that happened above the 50. So what really happened is it came down and grabbed the 50 EMA on H1, which is how I would normally take this trade since price interacted with the crossover. And it basically just grabbed the 50 EMA, but it did it on the 15-minute time frame, and came down and did it like that. So I could have actually went ahead and took this once it was down pretty much where this bottom line is. I didn't know that yet. This is a new something I just learned about the killer crossover strategy today. So I don't fault myself for not catching it. It's just something I'm going to have to take note of. And so I want to go ahead and let you know that that's a thing. So hopefully that made sense. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. It is what it is. Can't catch them all, but at least the analysis was on point. And we will live to trade another day. All right, y'all. We'll holler at you next time.